Hey there, Saints. Pastor Dave here again with another devotional for you this Wednesday. We're coming up toward the end of the season of Lent, and I wanted to share another reading from Sarah Arthur's One Year Daily Grind. This one is on the subject of friendship. When I think about Jesus and his itinerant band of followers, I'm especially intrigued by the disciple John, who is considered by many to have been Jesus' best friend. Usually when someone is your best friend, that person sees you in all your frailty and stupidity, but loves you anyway. A best friend sees you in all your humanness with a mixture of respect, bewilderment, loyalty, and even a small measure of contempt. But John's friendship with Jesus was somehow different. We know that John was the disciple Jesus loved, the one closest to him, like a younger brother. And yet their closeness didn't blur John's vision, as so often happens in our friendships. From the beginning, Jesus was a wonderful mystery to John. But there never seemed to be doubt in his mind as to who Jesus really was, the Son of the Most High God, the Messiah, the Savior of the whole world. What amazes me is that this knowledge didn't push John away from Jesus in fear or great reverence, but drew him in as a best friend, as someone who couldn't help but follow Jesus around like a puppy. He didn't put Jesus on a pedestal and keep him at a distance. He didn't force Jesus into some kind of prescribed role like the other disciples often did, jockeying for positions of power in what they assumed would be his political coup. Rather, John treated him with love, respect, and loyalty. He treated him as he was, which meant that Jesus probably felt like he could be himself around John, more than around any other person. You know, Saints, sometimes for me, John is kind of a forgotten disciple. We think about Peter as the one who's having all these interactions with Jesus and the one who seems very close to him. But John is the beloved disciple. And he's the one, as Sarah points out, the one who really is close to Jesus in a way that the others aren't, who is a friend. Because what often happens in the stories that we read in the Gospels is that Jesus' disciples don't get him. They don't understand what he's doing. They misinterpret his words. They misinterpret his expectations or his intentions. And they end up either doing something that isn't what he wanted them to do or arguing with him about what he does want to do, about whether that's the right thing to do or not. And John doesn't show up in those conversations. John isn't one of those who opposes Jesus in that way, but he's one who supports Jesus. He's one who really seems to get Jesus. He's a best friend, and he sees Jesus for who he really is. I know, when we look for a best friend, or when we think about who we consider our best friends, in the worldly temporal sense, that's who we're looking for. That's who we're thinking about. We want the people who get us, who understand who we are, and who don't try to shape us or convert us into something else. We want people who are pleased to be friends with us for the people that we are. We often talk about being a friend of God or a friend of Christ. And I think that that term, sometimes we understand it from the perspective of God is my friend. God provides things for me. I benefit. I have privileges from being connected to God. But do we often think in the other direction, what it means to be friends with God or with Christ in terms of what we offer them? What kind of support, what kind of allegiance, what kind of loyalty we offer to them? Because I do think it's important for us to know Jesus well enough and to love Jesus well enough that we can allow Jesus to be himself, not try to rewrite who he is, not try to change his words or his intentions or his goals in order to match ours, but to accept them for what they are and maybe even remodel ourselves after him. Saints, do you think of Jesus as your friend? And if so, what does that mean to you? That's your devotional this week. I hope it's helpful and worth thinking about. And I hope you're doing well, staying healthy. And I will be praying for you, saints. Please keep praying for me. And I'll see you again soon. Y'all take care.